The Clippers were without two key pieces to their roster last night in the 2-point loss to LeBron and the Lakers. Reigning sixth man of the year, Lou Williams, who is in the middle of a 10-day quarantine, did not suit up, and Montrezl Harrell is not even in Orlando at the moment. So, Shannon, how much of a difference would Lou and Montrezl have made? Think about this one here, Shannon.
You have two top 10 players on your roster that are healthy. Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are two of the 10 best players that's in the bubble. There's no question about that, Skip Bayless. They have to bring this home. It's easy to say, well, if they had Lou hold on, wait a minute. Now, if you get blown out by 15, 20, yeah, they could have made a difference. But you only down two, and you still have your two superstars. One finished third in the MVP voting last year. The other was the finals MVP just last year. So you're that close, you gotta bring it home. That's what my partner has taught me. If you're that guy, that's what you tell me. If you're that guy, he's that guy. That's what the Hall of Famer tells me. You're in the Hall of Fame, right?
Yep.
Sometimes I wonder about that since you can't.
Sometimes I do wonder.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But Skip, look, Lou Will can get buckets as good as anybody. He might be the greatest sixth man ever. Some might say Jamal Crawford. Okay, I think they're two of the top 3 or 4 sixth mans in NBA history. But he is a defensive liability. And in the last time the Lakers played, they put him in pick and roll, and they went at Lou Will. Just like they did when they played the Mavericks. What did they do, Skip? They put Doncic in the pick and roll, and they went at it. So it's a trade-off. Trez is unbelievable. But at the end of the day, which one of those guys is going to prevent Anthony Davis from getting 34 points? None. So therein lies the rub, Skip Bayless. I know it's, we got a moral victory. We played you down to the wire without two guys that come off the bench and give us about 40 a night. You did that. But guess what? Your two superstars, when it mattered the most, that's what you tell me. This is a superstar. The NBA is a superstar league, and superstars win games. So, in other words, you want Lou Will and Trez to save Kawhi's legacy. Is that what I'm hearing? Is that what I'm hearing you said? I just want to hear you go get on the record. Let the record show Skip Bayless believes Lou Will and Trez Harrell are the guys that can save Kawhi Leonard's legacy.
They are the two guys who can help Kawhi win this year's championship, and they were not there last night. And if they had been there, the Clippers would have won this game by double digits. It is still astounding to me that the Clippers had a shot, a decent shot, to win the game despite not having the league's most dynamic bench duo. They're gone. They're out of sight and out of mind, and it was hard on the psyche of this team because I don't think this team had still quite recovered from the fact that Lou Will betrayed this team and went from the Magic Kingdom to the Magic City in Atlanta. And he was ordering up his classic
There are a lot of sights to see at both locations.
Lots of sights to see. So, again, I think it really hurt the overall sort of unity feeling of this team. And LeBron brought his Los Angeles University Laker team into this game with all this college rah-rah, and they're rooting for each other. And I'm not sure the Clippers were rooting for each other quite like the Lakers were last night. And the Lakers came out playing harder than the Clippers did.
We hang together. LeBron James and Quinn Cook and all the guys, we go hang together. We play video games. What do you think Kawhi doing? You think Kawhi hanging with the guys?
Here's what I think LeBron should be doing today. He should be horrified by the fact that that team, that Clipper team with all the liabilities Doc was forced to play last night, hung in and had a shot to win the game. I'm going to remind everybody, the full Clipper roster has been together now only 12 times this whole basketball season, interrupted as it was. 12 times, and they're 11-1 in those 12 games. I'm going to remind you that going into last night, AD and LeBron had played 53 games together versus only 32 for Kawhi and Paul George. How do you even have an idea of how each other is going to play in a game of that magnitude last night when half of your team has missed all the scrimmage games?
First of all, you knew that when you got Kawhi, that practicing and load management was going to be a part of the process. So don't give me that, well, the guys don't practice together, because you knew damn well when you signed Kawhi Leonard, Skip, that those bulky knees that you keep talking about were going to be an issue, and he's going to need to load manage somewhere between 15 and 20 games a season.
So the Clippers needed down the stretch of what used to be the regular season, they needed reps. LeBron needed rest.
No, we needed reps. No, you see, we look rusty.
No, you didn't.
Let me ask you a question. When the last time you saw
look a little old.
There you go. When was the last time you saw LeBron shoot the ball that bad?
Oh, how can I count the days, the nights? I don't know. He often shoots the ball.
Didn't you see what he did against Giannis? And the last time he played Kawhi, he didn't go step.
A couple of good games to end it up.
A lot of good games.
I thought he edged ahead in the MVP race.
A lot of good games.
Okay, but the point is, this team is a shell of itself when it comes to being a unified, united, well-oiled machine of a team. It's just trying to figure out how to play together, and they just throw it out there on the floor, roll the ball out, and hang in and get a last shot to beat LeBron and AD, in part because AD, once again, disappeared in the fourth quarter.
Let me ask you a question. When that ball left Paul George's hands, what chance did you give it of going in?
Not much.
Exactly. I gave it 0.
Bad shot.
I gave it 0.
What have I told you from the start? Kawhi Leonard, not a natural-born closer. Paul George, definitely not a natural-born closer. Who does close for this team? Lou Will can be sweet in the fourth quarter, and Montrez is a beast in the fourth quarter. He is undeniable at the glass, at the rim. He takes over games in the fourth quarter. He can impose his physical will on a team. Those two huge elements were missing last night, and despite two superstars who can't close, it still comes to a last shot. You should be ashamed of that.
No, what you should be is ashamed of your guys, because with 12.9 seconds, I think the two best players on your team had the ball. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, we're talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And there's a game in which Chris Godwin and Mike Evans doesn't play. And Tom Brady has the ball for a last-second drive. He's driving down the field. He throws the ball to Gronk on 4th down. Are you talking about what he didn't have, or are you saying, you know what? Gronk and Tom Brady had a chance to win the game, because that's what you had. Kawhi Leonard and Paul George had the ball in their hands the last 12 seconds and got nada.
Well, Brady to Gronk, I'll take that any day.
Okay,
Yeah.
just so the Clippers.
I'll take Brady to O.J. Howard. I'll take Brady to Cameron Brate.
So let that sink in for just a second. You had Kawhi and Paul George had the ball in their hands.
And they had a bad plan because they had no plan. Is that what you call spacing? It's not even social distancing, because they're standing on top of each other. And Kawhi should have finished the play, and he got a little overwhelmed and intimidated by LeBron, because I think Kawhi's knees are still balking. He doesn't have the lift that he's had in the
LeBron
past.
pulled out Lonzo on
Did he? Okay.
at Pelican Bay. He put in cases on all of you.
Did he? Okay. And all of a sudden, he has to hand off to Paul George, and they're so close to each other that LeBron can say, well, I'll just guard him also.
Because he can do it.
Inexcusable.
But Skip, you know how we've guarded Paul George for years when we was in Cleveland and when we were in Miami and he was in Indiana. So we feel very comfortable with Paul George.
Would you have felt comfortable if Lou Will had been on the floor, if Montrez had been on the floor?
Lock 'em up.
With those two guys. Now you got issues. You got problems. Y'all
got the problems, because it seems to me y'all can't get your guys down in the bubble, and the guys that's in the bubble, you can't get them to stay in the bubble and do what they're supposed to do when they leave the bubble.
We got problems because we had problems last night. Liabilities. Landry Shamet had played 0 scrimmage game minutes, and he gets thrown into the fire. And he played, 22 minutes, and he goes 1 for 8 and 0 for 6 from 3. That's a liability.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Danny Green was 2 of 6 from the 3. Caldwell Pope was 0 of 3 from the 3. Deion Waiters was 1 of 6 from the 3. Caruso was 0 of 2. You make it seem like there was a Splash Brothers.
You've got the two best players in basketball. Is there a more dynamic starting duo than LeBron and AD?
Whoa.
Yeah.
You told me Kawhi was better than LeBron. So, no, we don't. Y'all got the best player in the bubble. That's what you told me.
No, well, you told me you got the two best players. You got the Defensive Player of the Year and the MVP playing together.
What did you tell me? These are the two best wing defenders since Jordan and Pippen, and they might be a tad better. Really?
Could Pat Bev play last night? No, he played
did.
0 scrimmage minutes, and I thought maybe he wouldn't even play at all.
But
they threw him in for 15 minutes, and he hit 2 big shots.
And if he hadn't hit those shots, we'd have blew the nose off you.
Well, he did hit those shots.
And it didn't do you no
If he
good.
could have played 30 minutes, you would have lost.
No, he wouldn't.
This was the Clippers as shorthanded as you can get. And all of a sudden, you're saying, we beat them. We put them in their place. No, you didn't. They put you in your place.
Yeah, y'all had Paul George and Kawhi. Y'all were not without your 2 stars.
Y'all had Reggie Jackson. I'm talking about me, y'all. Reggie Jackson playing 34 minutes at point?
Skip,
Are you kidding me?
Skip, you remember in the buyout, this is why he went to the Clippers, because of the minutes that he was going to be able to get, because they really didn't have a point guard, because they know Bron runs the point and then Rondo. So he says, I don't want limited minutes. I want to go there and get major minutes.
And I want to go 3 for 10 against the Lakers, and that's what he did last night.
Hold on.
And have you ever seen Marcus Morris play worse than that? The other twin, as you call him?
Yeah, Keith.
What is he doing? What's Marcus doing? He's 0 for 4. He zonks. He has 0 points.
I like that.
Yeah.
Because he still think he had the Knicks and they need them twins.